Sawadee Kop, this is Kru Jonathan for episode 2 of the Pu'u Muay Thai podcast. Today I have special guest Coach Ryan Ughoc from Pu'u Muay Thai Santa Barbara. He's the chief instructor and program director up there. He's been working with MMA competitors, been working with kids, people all different levels of experience. Great person. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started with the podcast for today. Mr. Ughoc, good to have you in today, man.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
Yeah, so we just kind of tell you guys what's going on. It's like 9:18 p.m. on Friday. I got competitions tomorrow with Mr. Montijo. She talked about episode 1. We had some of the students come down from Santa Barbara. Is that correct?
Good time, yes.
Yeah, that was awesome. I know, how many people came from Santa Barbara today?
We had 5.
5? Yeah, 5 students from Santa Barbara. Mm-hmm. It was awesome having everybody down here. We had a few students from Ventura Academy and stuff as well to get some competition prep work in. We have Mr. Minelli, right?
Minelli?
Yeah, Mr. Minelli competing, Little Charlie 38.
Little Charlie 38!
Yeah, he's going to be competing next Saturday down in Monrovia at Sit Yatang Gym. We also got Mr. Garcia, Coach Ralph here in Ventura Academy. He's going to be competing as well. So he was in here. They were both getting some clinch work in, good tactical sparring and bag rounds and stuff like that too. I was just talking with Coach Ryan too about like how awesome these Fridays are, right?
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
Good positive thing. Get the guys together, keep them moving. The alternatives, they could be out getting in trouble or doing something dumb, right? Keep them in the gym. Yeah, exactly.
It's Friday night. Definitely get them in the academy. But it's been really cool. The Pu'u Muay Thai in Santa Barbara started, it was June, correct?
Yes, June.
Yeah,
June 1st.
June 1st, 2019. And where is it located?
So we are located inside Brazil Arts Cafe. It's on Victoria and State Street. When you come in the front door, you're going to walk past the front register, walk to the back, and there's a little martial arts dance studio in the back. And you can find us there 5 days a week, mornings, nights, even come in, catch me some private lessons during the day.
Awesome. So is what the address is at 1231 State Street? Correct?
Yes.
It's crazy. I remember that off the top of my head.
Yeah.
1231 State Street in Santa Barbara, California. There's not a lot of street parking around there, like on side streets.
There is. So there's a public lot directly behind us. Mm-hmm. There's a little alleyway you walk through between Granada Theater and Brazil Arts Cafe. You walk through there, and then you cut to your right, and you'll see us right on the corner, Brazil Arts Cafe.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so with the Brazil Arts Cafe, it's a Brazilian restaurant, correct?
Yes, really good Brazilian food, acai bowls, coffee, punch queijo, coxinhas, all the best Brazilian foods you can find.
Chin's a cool guy.
Yeah, there's such nice people in there, for sure.
Yeah. All right, so just, I guess I kind of want to just find out more about you too.
Yeah.
Wait, is it not the address?
It's 1230 State Street.
1230 State Street, guys. Sorry,
yeah.
1230 State Street. I don't know. I thought 1231.
I'm just as bad agreeing with you.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. No wonder why you having hard people find it hard. Like, wait, which building is it?
Yeah.
Where is it at?
Yeah.
End up in front of the empanada place or something instead.
Yeah, right.
Awesome, man. So I wanted to talk a little bit. Just find out more about you too. Some of the stuff maybe we haven't talked about.
Mm-hmm.
We've been sharing the mat a lot. I met you through Kru Marquis, and you're going up to go visit his academy up. Is it in Seattle?
Yes, it's in Seattle. I'm doing a seminar up there October 12th.
October 12th?
Yeah, so all the Seattle people come by. Guild Muay Thai.
Guild Muay Thai.
Yes.
Guild Muay Thai.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, Guild Muay Thai guys with Kru Mark and Coach Ryan will be up there October 12th.
Yes.
Okay, and you guys, I'm assuming they have their number. I'll try to get it in the show notes. You guys could check that out.
You can also stop by their Instagram, Guild Muay Thai.
At Guild Muay Thai?
At Guild Muay Thai, and you can find their contact information on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Perfect. So, I guess the first thing is, what's your background, right? Like, where were you born?
So
I know a little bit of this.
I was born in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
my mom and dad were together, and my dad was a student at UCSB, and they lived in the old student family housing.
Wow.
So I was born at Cottage Hospital, good old Santa Barbara.
Cottage.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then my parents split up when I was young, like 6-7 months, and I moved to Santa Maria. And so I basically grew up in Santa Maria.
I grew up. Okay.
Yeah.
So what year were you born in?
I was born in, do I got to say that? 79.
79. 1979. Awesome. So just till end of the 70s there.
Yeah.
I knew you're old, man.
Yeah, I'm getting there, man. I'm feeling my body don't feel the same anymore.
Oh, yes. That's part of, we also come to that at some point.
Yes.
Awesome. So when you grew up in Santa Maria, did you have any introduction to martial arts then? Or anything?
I did. So I started off doing judo in like junior high school. Started off doing judo. I really liked the footwork with judo and the balance that it taught me. It really taught me good balance and good footwork.
Sure.
And I really feel like that helped me in all the different sports I've done, whether it be football or contact sports. I really feel like that balance and that the footwork has helped me out big time.
For sure. I could definitely see that as well. So was judo the only thing that you had experienced?
So I started off doing judo. And then I got away from judo. I was a knucklehead kid. I knew it all. I was arrogant. Couldn't tell me anything. I already had it all figured out. And I was a little punk. I got in a lot of trouble. And as I started getting in more and more trouble, I always felt like there was some sort of that discipline missing in my life. And I started boxing a little bit, started to clean up, and then trouble started pulling me back in. So I started wandering aimlessly, basically. No discipline, getting in a lot of trouble. And I got to a point in my life where I had to make some major changes. I took about a year of my life, dedicated about a year of my life to make those changes. And then I met my original instructor, Kru Mark, at a bar of all places.
You met Kru? I didn't know this.
Yes, I met him at a bar. We were getting drunk, and I was like, "Hey, you're from Hawaii?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "My family's from Hawaii too." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So we started talking. And then he was like, "Man, come on out. I teach some classes. I have a guy that wants to fight MMA." And he's like, "I could use another body to throw at him." So I said, "Sure." I went back out there, and at that point in my life, I was kind of like I was kind of sitting on that edge. I'm either gonna jump off and I'm gonna fall, or I'm gonna step away from the edge and start going the other way.
Yeah. Just to backtrack a little bit, was that Sam that you were training, or was it Jacob?
Jacob. It was Jacob.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Jacob was there.
Awesome. So it was Jacob is Gonzalez, right?
Gonzalez.
Yes. Yeah, Jacob Gonzalez. I've seen him around. He moved to LA, didn't he?
He did move to LA. I think he's back and forth though.
Yeah, he's back and forth. Mr. Gonzalez, if you're listening, hello.
What's up, Jacob? Jakey Pu'u, my boy.
All right, can you guys how to go about that?
So I'm at that point in my life when I met my Muay Thai instructor. I was kind of it's kind of like I was on the edge of a cliff. Like I was either gonna jump back into all the bad stuff I was doing before, or I was gonna really make some more changes in my life. And when I met him, he invested a lot of time in me. And through that time in helping me, get back on the mats, get back into training, finding that discipline again, I kind of I took it and ran with it. And definitely changed my life. Changed my life.
So when you were training with Kru Mark, how old were you? Yeah. When you met him at a bar?
I was about 30.
30?
I was like 30. Yeah.
What bar was that at?
Oh man, I don't want to say it. This place is
what is
this place is bad.
Now you have to say it.
It was the pub in Carp, the Carp and Linden pub. Total hole in the wall, like dive bar, and then it continues to get more and more divey.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The kind of place you go to and is like you just expecting to like get in some kind of trouble, one way or another.
Maybe Mark was looking for some trouble and he ended up finding you.
Yeah, he got trouble.
Was he there with his wife or?
No. Sherry wasn't. Sherry would work a lot, and he would just. She was working out of town a lot, and so whenever she was out of town, I'd be like, Ryan, let's go to the bar. And we go to the bar, and the more I started training, the more I got away from drinking, honestly, because I couldn't hang out all night with the boys and then get up early and go train the next day. That's not happening. You can't.
No, for sure. And I mean, to kind of go on that, I don't think a lot of people know this. What you lost a lot of weight, right?
Yeah.
How much? What was the heaviest you were at?
I was over. I want to say like 305, 306 pounds. I kind of stopped jumping on the scale once I got that big. The last time I checked, it was over 300. I want to say it was like 304, but I'm not. I don't think that was the biggest I was. I think I got bigger, and finally got to a point where I just wanted to make some changes, and the alcohol didn't go along with that either. So I started cutting that stuff out, making healthier decisions, and I was competing in jiu-jitsu tournaments, and I got down to 201.
So that's like 100-pound weight loss journey right there.
Yeah.
Wow, man, congrats. That's life-changing.
Yeah, really life-changing. I mean, I was training like 2-3 times a day. I was meal prepping every day. I had it down to a science. I was dropping like 5 pounds a week. Wow. I was working. I was working my butt off, and I was eating really, really clean. And it was like I just had this I had it down to a science, and it was just every week.
And I think that kind of goes into when we met, because I think I met you after you were training with Kru for a little bit. Yeah. I can't remember, honestly, I can't remember when I first met you. Do you remember any chance?
I remember you brought in a student to train with Jakey Pu'u.
Anthony,
yes.
Anthony, the Vietnamese man.
The Vietnamese dude, yes. He he had a fight coming up. Jacob had a fight coming up. We got him together, and then I think you said he moved away.
Yeah, he went to become an osteopath, actually.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, he taught SPY during the holidays and still comes to SPYs. Cool. And it's like he never left. Yeah. His conditioning, he's like, my conditioning's not there, but he still comes in. But he still throws us around a little bit. Cool. Yeah, he used to be a former rugby player. Yeah. I remember that day.
He was monster. That guy was, he was good.
He's very, I told him once he's done with his medical school to come back. Yeah, and take 2 years, just focus on competition before he goes into his medical practice and paying off all his student debts. Yeah. So he's definitely around. But that's crazy. Yeah, I remember faintly about you being there. I remember another person. Yeah, so it was you. Yeah. So I guess, what kind of went from being like a student, sound like we're always students of like martial arts.
Always a student.
A lot of people see it. But when did you step into like that coaching role?
So when he told me he had a guy,
he being Mark?
Kru, yes. When Kru said he had a guy that he was training for an MMA fight, he had me come in and work with him, and I was training with him the whole time, but I was always the pad holder. And so as the pad holder, I was the one always in there working with him, holding for him, and as Mark would get busy and not be able to make a class or something like that, he would ask me to fill in for him, and I slowly started transitioning from there. I never really thought of myself as a coach. I just always showed up, and I did what I could do to help and, put my 2 cents in when it was needed. And if it wasn't, I would keep my mouth shut. And I learned a lot just watching and holding pads from people. The more I held pads, the more I started noticing different things here, different things there. And I feel like a lot of what I learned came from holding pads and seeing openings and bad habits that other people have.
So it sounds like kind of got bred into being a coach.
Kind of, yeah. That was kind of what he grew me from day one was to be his second and helping him out.
Yeah, well, you do a good job at it, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, we love having you part of the teim. Yeah. We were always working with each other and stuff. Like, holding pads for me. Yeah, I was supposed to compete last year.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I always have a blast with you. Before that?
I coached youth football.
Flag football, touch, or tackle?
No, it was tackle. Back before flag football was really being pushed.
Head injuries.
Yeah, and they were little kids too. They were like the 7-8-year-olds, and I would watch them just hit each other, and I'm like, man.
That's crazy, right?
You don't think about it then, but now thinking back on it, it's like man.
That wasn't good.
It's not good.
Now with all the research, like back then we didn't know. Now it's like, it's a different story. No. Now we have like, with that heads up concussion training.
Yes.
We have that. So that's something, if you guys don't know that are listening, so what heads up is, it's a concussion certification program that's required for all youth sports and all coaches in youth sports. Back, I think 2017, they started making a requirement. All martial arts schools, anybody working with youth, it's actually required, state mandated.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because I know there's a bunch of programs out there. They're not doing that.
It's important though. Yeah.
It definitely is, and I think it's something that it's just a lack of education because a lot of us grew up, we didn't see it as being a problem.
Yes.
And unless you're like in this industry and like actually in it like we are, you don't hear about it.
Yes.
You hear about it in football. You hear about soccer. Mm-hmm. You hear about it in hockey and basketball, other contact sports that are more popular than like martial arts stuff. But it's also, we have the same requirements for that as well. And I think that's something that sets us apart for like what we're looking for, because we're always looking at protecting our students.
Definitely.
Right? Protecting everybody that's participating in this, because we want to make sure they can practice for a long time.
Definitely. So,
I guess kind of getting the next thing here is, how's Santa Barbara been treating you guys up there?
Man, I love Santa Barbara. It's a beautiful town, really cool people. It's going really, really well.
You guys have been there. It's, right now it's September, getting towards the end of September. It's going to be October. So, like, student-wise, who you got going up there? You got any, good people that are coming up through the ranks that I should know about?
Yeah, we got a lot of guys that are putting in work. Little Charlie 38, Charlie Manelli, he's fighting this weekend.
Yeah, he's competing this weekend, that's right.
I have a couple other guys that are interested in competing, not trying to rush anybody along too quickly, but I definitely think we'll have some more guys getting their feet wet here soon.
Yeah, and I know we're working on getting the first promotion set up for you guys. We just ordered those T-shirts.
Yes.
Coming in next week for Pu'u Muay Thai. It's Santa Barbara on it, yes. Santa Barbara, California. So yes. I know you guys are going to be super stoked about that. It'll be cool to see some of the other students. I know, what's the girl you always post on Instagram? She's super quiet. I forget her name. I think her Instagram is Viva Loretta.
Courtney.
Yes, that's
Courtney.
Who it was.
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
Courtney.
How can I forget Courtney? Courtney is one of my coaches up there too. She started off not wanting to do the group classes and started off doing private lessons with me. And after a little while, she was like, okay, I think I can transition into classes. And so she started jumping in the classes, and she spent a lot of time with me. So I really try to use her to help me out on the mats as far as help conveying what the message I'm trying to get out there. So she knows that she's been with me for a little while.
She knows, so like you're like, hey, bring your foot back home. She knows what that's going to be and
totally.
What you're looking for.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I've seen her. She looks good.
Yeah.
I've seen her progress, I think, when you were doing one-on-ones with her and stuff like that as well. So great stuff. So along with like students like Courtney, a lot of other people that are just training, they're training for fun. I know you have a kids program. You have June Jaguars going up there, the 4 to 6-year-olds.
Yeah, man. I really love working with the kids. The kids is definitely an important program for me. I feel like with the background I have, and the upbringing I've had, I really feel like if I would have had a coach to grab me and say, hey, that's not right, or, discipline me when I need to be disciplined, or love on me when I need to be loved on, I don't think I would have made half as many of the stupid decisions I would have made and found out things on the hard, found out the things I did the hard way. Mm-hmm. So definitely kids program is something that's really one of my big priorities. I really want to start working with, some troubled youth in the area, and help mentoring them and keeping them on the right track. That's something that's important to me. Yeah,
definitely. We're looking at, if anybody that's listening is hearing this too, know that we have an awesome PTA fundraiser that we like to implement. You can contact us. It's just contact@Muay Thai Santa Barbara or contact@MuayThaiVentura.com. And you can always ask us about the fundraising stuff too. That's stuff that's we really want to help give back to the community, help give back to the kids. And given my background too, it's really important. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So with the Santa Barbara Academy going on, we have the competitions coming up this weekend. How is it being inside of a Brazilian cafe?
It's not our own spot.
Yes.
But we're making do with the best of what we have.
And we're trying to set up too, so we can have students going to both.
Yes.
I know that's like the goal. So if anybody's listening right now, you want to train there. We're working on setting up some special trainings between both. Like we do the Friday sparring, where you get the people from Santa Barbara down. But I think in the future we'll for sure have stuff where we can go between both. We'll work on that as we start getting like towards you guys' own location.
Yes.
We're headhunting for. We're looking for it.
Yes.
So we're actually, I could say, looking for the body, right?
Yeah.
Looking for the body.
Looking for the body.
Looking for the body. You want to plan and land somewhere strong, you know?
Yes.
Keep working away at it. But man, I'm super stoked to have the family name up there.
Yes.
You know, so I told you before, our family had like a skate and surf shop up there for a long time.
Yeah.
I didn't have our last name on it, but
a lot of people come up to me. Are you related to David Pu'u?
They ask you?
Or, they always ask me. I'm like, no, not me, but I know the guy who is.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Our family name goes there pretty deep. So.
Is it David?
Yeah, David Pu'u.
Yeah.
And he had three. He had a brother who's actually this freaking insane wrestler.
Yeah.
That's another story, but that guy was something else. Michael Pu'u. He passed away, I think it was last year.
Yeah.
And then he has two sisters also.
Yeah.
So his brother is also involved in like combat sports over at Dos Pueblos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he still has like some of his trophies up in the case there.
Cool.
Trophy case from wrestling.
Cool.
So the guy was something else.
I heard that too. I heard that too.
He's a great, and he had a couple of bolts loose too.
Yeah.
So, when none of us had heard from him, we just heard that he passed. So but awesome, man. Me and you were talking on the phone because we had these competitions coming up. Mm-hmm. It's something I think a lot of people don't quite grasp, especially like our students or like the general audience that maybe goes to these competitions, and that is just weight class based competitions.
Yes.
So like any sport that's weight class based, which Muay Thai for the adults, it's weight class based and they're pretty stringent on it. I kind of want to just expand a little bit on what we were talking about. Like I said, people don't tend to understand the difference between weight loss, like body recomposition, and like weight cutting. Mm-hmm. So two completely different things.
Yes.
And let's kind of just hit first on like those differences there, like weight loss. So, body recomposition, that's working through like diet and stuff like that too. What are some things that you were doing when you were going through like your weight loss journey? Like, what was two staples of your plan?
The biggest thing is, and I know this sounds really cliche, but if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Right?
Oh yes.
Like it sounds so cliche, but it's the truth. If you don't take the time to make your food, when you're hungry, are you gonna stop and wait until you can find something that's healthy for you? Or if you've been training 2 classes and you're starving, you're going to grab whatever you can to eat at that point. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, whatever you can grab usually isn't what you should be eating.
So preparing like your meals, right? So
and the thing was too, is what I would prepare, and I did this for like 6 months. I pretty much ate the same thing like 5 days a week.
Yes.
I would eat brown rice and quinoa mix.
You're on a mission, man.
Yes. I would eat brown rice, quinoa mix together. I would do ground turkey, and I would do black beans and a handful of spinach.
And that worked for you?
I would eat about 10 ounces a serving every 2 hours. So I had to carry this little pack around with little 10-ounce hockey pucks in it, and I had to throw it in the microwave, warm it up, and eat. And if I didn't, the weeks I wasn't very consistent with my timing, I noticed that I wasn't the results weren't as good.
Yeah.
But if I stuck to every 2 hours and I ate really, really clean like that, and I drank a lot of water with chia seeds.
Oh, yeah, water with chia seeds. That helped you full, right? Satiated, good omega-3s. Yeah. One thing with chia seeds that I found out, because I have low blood pressure, I think it's just like a genetic thing, because my dad has it too, I think. Is you don't want to have too many chia seeds because it can actually lower your blood pressure too much.
Really?
And make you lightheaded, like almost like pass out.
Yeah, that was
I found out that I looked on it. I was doing some research on it, but it's just something to be aware of.
Yeah,
I found it out the hard way. I almost passed out. I was like,
yeah.
Why am I getting lightheaded?
Yeah,
I'm eating plenty.
I'm like dizzy.
Yes.
So. Actually, that makes sense. There was a few times when I was training real hard, I would get lightheaded, and I thought it was just because I was overtraining.
Well, or maybe you're also on a pretty big calorie deficit compared to what you're at before.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different factors that could have definitely been one of them. One of the things I've been playing around with, as you know, we've talked about this a little bit, is doing a plant-based diet.
Yes.
Yeah, plant-based. I've tried vegetarian before. I tried vegan, plant-based stuff for I think I did for 6 months, something like that before. And it messed me up, man. I was doing weight cutting then too. I was competing a lot. We'll get into the weight cut stuff in a second here. I'd either be too heavy and I would perform great, or my weight would be too low and I'd feel just like garbage. I feel like I had no power, no energy.
Yeah.
I'm very lethargic.
Yeah.
And I told myself I'd reapproach that another day.
Yeah.
So have you ever played around with that kind of stuff at all? Or you're a pretty big meat eater?
Yeah, I like meat. I like chicken. I like meat. I've thought about it here and there, but I've never really
played with
taken that jump. Yes.
Yeah. So, but one of the things I noticed with that is that my appetite, like for me personally, I've tried intermittent fasting before when I was eating like meat diet, I had meat in my diet. It did not work. I would crash every single time I broke my fast. This is the intermittent fasting thing for anybody out there that's listening. Look it up. Yeah. Look up the 16-8 window is 16-8 protocol for intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting is goes upon the protocol of you don't eat for 16 hours,
right,
and you have an 8-hour window where you eat. So I was doing that 16-8 protocol, and every time I broke it, man, I would just, I'd have to sleep for 2 hours.
Wow.
I'd just be super lethargic. It felt like I had no energy too.
Yeah.
I didn't have any. I was hungry all the time when I couldn't do my morning runs I'd like to do every day.
Yeah.
Kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah.
But I found that eating plant-based, I found that I actually lean more towards intermittent fasting because I'm not as hungry in the morning. And I actually feel like I have more energy. My weight went down a little bit. Kind of more where I like to sit at when I'm sparring, moving around with students. As a pad holder, I definitely like to carry on a little extra weight for my joints and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, because you feel that stuff.
You do. People don't realize that, man. Holding pads takes a lot out of you.
Oh yeah,
and especially if you have some big, strong guys.
Oh yeah.
You definitely walk away and you feel it for a while after. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, the thing is, people come into the academy to see you for 1 hour teaching class.
Yeah. And
they don't see you holding pads for 8-9 hours a day.
Yes.
Before that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And, for you, how much do you weigh right now, Coach?
About 235.
235?
Yeah.
So me, I'm about $150, $152. So for me, I feel...
You feel that,
oh, yeah. I feel that a lot. I'm dealing with some shoulder stuff.
Yes.
Because it came up back in, July.
Yes.
Still kind of dealing with it. From holding pads a lot. It messed me up. But holding for we have our students holding pads in class, right? You hold for an hour.
That's
when I was just doing that as a student, I didn't feel as much.
You don't feel it.
When I started coaching,
going all day long, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's when it's you get a repetitive stress injury.
Or when you have a heavyweight that's getting ready for a competition.
Heavyweights
that weighs 230, 240 pounds, and you're making them go hard every minute of every round.
Oh yeah.
What's absorbing that shock?
Yeah, I had a 300-pounder guy, 300-pound guy I was holding for, and that messed me up. I think that's what put me over the edge a little bit on that.
Yeah.
I couldn't hold from as much as I wanted to, which sucked, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But, kind of going on to that, so diet is very important for that body recomposition. And, of course, the exercise, training, and things of that nature, too, you're going to go towards that weight loss goal. And, weight loss is, healthy weight loss, half pound, and they say up to 1.5 pounds weight loss per week.
Per week, yeah.
That's per week. Anything over that is a little bit extreme and easy to kind of yo-yo back.
Yeah.
And I think the joke is for diets, they say, it has the word die in it.
Die. Yeah.
Die. So it has to really become a lifestyle thing.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do with when people are training is, hey, we got the exercise part down. That we're coming in here and training and kicking pads, punching, getting the knees, getting the good sweat and stuff too, and learning a new skill. But, we can't sit there and put a spoon to their mouth.
No. Can't do that. That's not doing anybody any favors.
But here in Ventura, I have a meal prep company that I like to recommend. It's Result Driven Meals. They actually do meal prep. Great people. Justin used my Connect over there. I used them when I was doing a meat-based diet.
Yes.
For protein, and they're great. I had to cancel them just because they didn't have grass-fed options. You have a student that does one in Santa Barbara, right?
Yes. Healthy Warrior Meal Prep.
Do they have a website?
Really good stuff. Yes, they do. I believe it's healthywarriormealprep.com.
.com? Okay.
Mia, she's really, really good.
That's
She's
a student, right, Mia?
Yeah, she's
I
one of my
Mia.
students, Mia Pascalucci.
Yes.
So when the heavyweight I had, he was competing. He was doing the USMTO tournament, and I told him I don't want you at heavyweight anymore. I want you to go down. So he went from like 275 down to 198. And he was on her meal prep. She was feeding him 5 days a week, I believe.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, this isn't your normal client. He's not the bodybuilder that's looking to pack on pounds. So I don't want you to
Suck
it's not about gains,
Yeah.
And so we played around with it for a couple of weeks, and then finally we figured something out that worked. So whether you're looking to get swole and get big, or you're looking to trim down, definitely if you're in Santa Barbara, hit up Mia. Healthy Warrior Meal Prep.
Healthy Warrior Meal Prep, and I think they have an Instagram too. I think it's just Healthy Warrior.
Yes, Healthy Warrior Meal Prep.
Healthy Warrior. If you look it up, you guys can definitely find it. Okay, so diet being utmost importance, exercise, of course, and so you think about the weight loss, that slow, steady weight loss that you're doing through diet and exercise. So it kind of goes into our next thing, which would be like weight cut. So weight cuts, like stuff that happens on dietary changes that are happening about 3 weeks out, I'd say. Sometimes even just a week out, depending on how far they're out. There's a really popular one. It was like Dolce diet.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I used the 3 weeks shredded, the old one. That thing worked like.
Really?
Oh yeah, that was huge. I remember when that first came out, I was like, "Oh, Dolce diet." I was like, "What's that?
Yeah.
What is that? Dolce?
Yeah.
What is that?" Oh, it's the guy's last name. I experimented with that, and I really recommend. He has a cool book. It's called Living Lean. You can get it on Amazon. I think Kindle Reader, like on an app on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they have an audiobook version, but don't get that. Get the one that you can actually read and look at the recipes and stuff in there. But it really kind of aligned with some of like the healthy eating principles that go like to healthy weight loss, as opposed to weight cutting, which is what his 3 weeks to shredded book was. But I thought that was something that was really good. Have you ever read any of his stuff?
No, I have not.
He has great stuff too. I'm subscribed to his podcast, listen to some of it. I don't listen to it as much anymore because I don't have a whole lot of time. I've been messing around with audiobooks a lot lately when I'm driving a lot.
It's easier.
Oh yeah, much easier. Today I listened to like 3 hours of books.
That's good.
Yeah, and I had a bunch of different ones on there. But that weight cut, as you get closer and closer to competition, you think about it's like a little bit more of like extreme, like it's a healthier extreme diet, I guess you could say, because losing weight like this isn't healthy, guys.
It's not healthy.
No, it's not healthy. It allows us to do the crazy thing that we enjoy doing, which is competition. And I heard this analogy before, Coach Ryan, which was that everybody's speeding on the freeway. So what do?
Speed.
Yeah. Right? Everybody's going 70, speed limit 65, you're going to go 70.
Yes.
You're not going to go over there and go drive 50. Everybody's going to be honking at you and driving over you, right? So, it's part of the sport for those weight class-based competitions. You can see it. Do you see it in Pee Wee football when kids were doing that? They had to make weight.
They would. Yes, if they weren't, and if their age and weight didn't match up, they had to jump up to the next division, basically.
So you get kids trying to be like giant and come down a little bit.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy. 7 to 8 years old.
Yeah, no, maybe not that.
Not young.
So I was always a big kid, right? I was a little chubby kid, and I was always playing with kids that were like 4 years older than I was. Mm-hmm. And then there were parents that were trying to do whatever they could to get their kids to drop down and be, older playing with the younger kids. So it's crazy how that works. It's crazy.
And then you get the crazy parents that have never done sports in their life.
Yeah, and trying to relive their childhood through their kid.
Yeah, live vicariously through them.
Yes.
So with that weight cutting stuff too, like I was saying, you're kind of coming down closer. It's like a little bit extreme, but allows us to do what we want to do. Again, you're on that speeding highway. I've had some students that have competed at like a low amateur level, like first 2-3 fights, not doing like a weight cut, I guess you could say.
That's good. Let them figure that out early.
Yeah. I always like to encourage people. Their first one, it's like, hey, train hard, eat healthy, eat sensibly. I tell them I recommend them to Living Lean, and we had our student Gabby. You know Gabby.
Yeah.
Gabby's awesome.
Yeah, she's cool.
If you guys don't know, they own Pizza Man Dan's over there on Victoria.
Oh, that's her. I didn't know that was her.
In Ventura, the Ventura one on Victoria.
Okay.
They bought out that franchise. They're franchise owners now.
Oh wow.
They're a franchisee.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
So her and her partner Myra, they're both over there. But Gabby, I recommended that to her, and she went down. I think she was walking around, close to 140, and she was getting down 125 pounds.
Wow,
just training hard. She was preparing. She had it on, and she wasn't even running.
Yes.
Yeah, she wasn't even running.
People don't realize that once you start running, that's gonna.
It even just comes off.
Yeah, it just melts off.
And that those people that start doing those first 2-3 competitions, I'm trying to get them to start running. I know you are too. We were just talking about this. That kind of comes into embracing the lifestyle of competition. I know I shared the packet with you that I kind of had for people who are interested when they're first beginning their training.
Yes.
For a competition, hey, Kru Jonathan, I want to start competing.
Yes.
Hey, I print this out and talk over the rules with them and everything too. And one of the things in there is running. And a lot of people in there.
Yes, I have an app that I make my guys download and check in so I can track their runs.
Which one is it?
Strava.
Yeah, I'm on Strava too. I started using that when you told me that.
Yeah.
I started implementing that. I know Gabby's on there.
Yes.
Yeah, she's on there. And a couple of other people that are on there too.
I would have guys be like, "Did you run?" "Yeah, I've been running." They start sparring, they're gassing. I'm like, "Okay, download this app. Show me you're running."
Accountability.
Yes.
Going above and beyond, coach. That's a great idea for anybody else out there. Man, implement it. It's easy.
Yes.
It's a free app, right?
Yes.
Strava.
You can't walk around and babysit them and see what they're eating all day, but you can tell if they're running or not.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they're not trying, it's like, they have time to post on Instagram. They have time to turn on the app.
Yes, exactly.
So
the one thing I thought was going to happen was someone was going to get on a bike and start riding real slow on a bike, make it look like they're running. But hey, if they're willing to cheat like that, then they'll learn their lessons in the ring.
Yes, they will, and you'll know that too.
Yes.
Ultimately.
Yes.
And that's kind of goes into those things that should be happening. People are competing, and this helps with that healthy weight loss and maintenance. Is they should be running 3 to 5 times per week.
Yeah.
With the running, well, I was told a general rule of thumb is I should be getting 25 miles of road work a week. And that's why I always tried to maintain. You figure that's 5 miles a day for Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
And I would always try to do that. Wednesday would suck, of course.
Yeah.
Wednesday is not fun. You're tired from the week, work, all that stuff too.
Yes.
So I guess when you come into that kind of running also, it's funny. I told somebody this before. Like, man, I just can't run like that for 5 miles, and they never really did running before. Keep in mind, this is one of their first sports they've ever done. And hey, let's go for a run. And so when I brought them out for a run, they were full on sprinting.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen how we run Muay Thai, we run up a little bit more on our toes. Yeah, it's more like a trot, kind of just running up on our toes and everything as well. So when you're doing that, it's lower intensity. Of course, we do have sprint or harder running training. You'll call what is called a fartlek training. Mm-hmm. It's hey, I see that pole, I'm going to sprint as fast as I can to that, and then I'm going to jog to the next one and hit it again. So we call that fartlek training. Have you ever messed around with any stuff like that?
No. One thing I have done before is I would have them run. I would have them run around the block, and then as soon as they came back around the block, their gloves were on, and I would do 2 minutes hard cardio pad work with them. Bum, 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 bum. Huh? Yeah, and then back to a jog, and then they would jog. So jog, and then come back, and then get their heart rate back up. Another round. Yeah, we would do that a little bit with some sprints over at the stadium over here across the street at Ventura High School on Sundays. That's always fun. Yeah. And that kind of stuff comes in later on. The first few competitions, just getting in the running is very important. Yeah, getting them in the program.
Oh yeah. So and that kind of comes into some of the maintenance stuff for amateur competitors. I would say maintenance for amateur competitors, they should be training at least 3 times a week in a class.
Yeah.
At least 3 times a week. A common roadblock I see a lot of people place on themselves for that kind of thing is I have to train every single day all the time. You're going to burn out that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen that before too?
Yes, totally. You see them, oh, I'm all committed. I'm going to do this. And, they start training every single day, and then a month goes by and I don't hear from them, and I'm having to call them, hey, where are you at?
Yes.
Remember that goal you said you had? Let's go.
And that comes into like how we have our program structured now too, where we start people off 2 days a week.
Yes.
And I always really assess people when they're coming in, if they're wanting to do something that's like the 3+ times a week. Is are they athletic? Have they trained sports before? Are they going to be coachable? Things like that too. And I always tell them, hey, when they start on those programs, like, hey, let's shoot for 3 times a week. If you feel good, come in more than 3 times a week. If not, just come back 3 times a week, show up, and get in. When you feel good, train more. But don't set that expectation high for yourself. And I actually had I had one of our coaches like, man, you're kind of punching out the student like that. And I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, you're kind of making it seem like that's something that they can't do. I said, no, it's not something they can't do. It's just like my experience, longevity. How many years have you been involved in martial arts, Coach?
About 10 years for Muay Thai. Did judo for a couple of years, box for a couple of years. So, I mean, on and off for, a little while. It's hard to put a number on it.
Above 15 years.
Yeah.
So I for myself, I've been training Muay Thai since 2007.
Yeah.
So 13 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Coming up on. And there's definitely times where I'm like, I felt like I'd set that bar too high and I wouldn't even show up.
Yeah.
So I just had that bar so high for myself.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of what we thought about for our training protocols. But for those amateur competitors, they look at minimum, their maintenance 3 times a week. Right.
Yes. You said something that really, really hit me. You said you're looking for someone that's coachable.
Mm.
That is one of the most important things right there. Someone asked me once, what are you looking for in a student? You're looking for someone that hits hard? You're looking for someone that's fast?
Really?
I said, I'm looking for someone that's going to listen and that I can coach. Because if they're not going to listen to me, they're not going to believe anything I'm teaching them. They're not going to learn anything I try to teach them.
Well, that's funny. It's actually in our competition rules.
Yeah.
That have in that packet. Did you read that?
I did. Yeah.
But, okay.
I show it all the time.
So, it's great. I had one of our students that read it yesterday, and he started busting up laughing. It's something along the lines of, do what we tell you to do.
Yes.
And if you ask us a question, we tell you something, do that.
Yeah.
All right. Because I've had it before where I would tell somebody, before I wrote this pamphlet out, I'd have students that would show up and they'd say they want to do it. They'd ask me a question like, hey, how much should I be running a week? And I would tell them, and like, oh, can you do that? And they'd say yes. And then I'd go find out, like, oh, I'm only doing sprints 3 times a week. Whoa, that's not what we talked about.
Yeah.
Like, well, Kru Jonathan, I saw this video on YouTube. Oh, that's out, get out. Yeah, it's like, hey, don't get me wrong, there's a ton of awesome content on YouTube, but with the students that come in here, we're the ones that are coaching them, and we're wanting them to do something specifically because it's going to help them get towards where they need to get to. Not saying that that's just bad. They're not at that point yet.
Yes.
So we want to build a strong foundation for them. And that's one of the rules that one of our students really was just cracking up about. And he's like, oh, no way you have this in here. This makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And from like a coach's standpoint, it's like, man, you guys, you're paying us for our profession. Yeah. Like I said, we're going to be in there and we test this in the ring a lot with our students and, with all our experiences that we've had. And please just take that advice. Yeah, you can look at other stuff too. Ask us about it. It's like, hey, maybe I didn't see it. Like I said, we're still students.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still always learning as well.
Every day.
Yeah, exactly. So we always try to empty the cup and listen to any of the coaches in the academies. They're always more happy to talk about it. Maybe they can explain more why we do things a certain way. And maybe we understand what the use of that one is. And it's like for your body type.
Mm-hmm.
There's, all kinds of different body types that are going to be out there in different styles.
Yeah.
So, or maybe our style for maybe you see more of like a kickboxing style, like gym or like academy. We're Muay Thai. It's a little bit different. Yeah. So like the training styles can be a little bit different too. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, it's funny about the YouTube video.
Yeah, that's funny. I tell people everyone's on a path, right? They all have to go from A to Z. Nobody's gonna go A to M, back to L, out to Z. You gotta go A to Z, but at each point, people spend a little bit more time on each letter than the other, but you can't just skip letters and have an alphabet.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny you mentioned about the time. I think a lot of people don't quite understand the time sacrifice that goes into competing. Yeah. I've had a lot of people that come up to me. I hand them the pamphlet, like, well, I can't do the maintenance. I'm like, oh, okay.
Competition may not be.
Yeah, it might not be your thing. And then it's like, hey, maybe we look at leadership.
Yeah.
You can still be involved with the competition team through our leadership program and stuff like that too. When you start cornering, you're working in with them on the mats and stuff like that, learning to hold pads, tape hands, things of that nature, and becoming like yourself, like Kru Mark, he coached you into being a coach.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what our leadership program works towards as well. So what are some things for those who are listening to consider when they are looking?
So that you have to make sure that you're willing to listen. Listen to your coach. He's been through this before. He knows what needs to go into it in order for you to be successful. And I don't mean successful as just as a win and a loss, but for you to accomplish the goal that you're setting out in front of you, right? Especially at amateur level, it's not about a win. It's not about a loss. It's about that experience you go through, about pushing your body to the limits and finding what you're capable of, right? Once you're aware of those things, that's a lesson you're going to carry with you for the rest of your life.
For sure.
So I definitely say to someone out there that's looking to compete, listen to your coach. Do what your coach is telling you. And that's number one.
And ask them questions.
Yes, ask questions.
One of the big things I see a lot there, Coach Ryan, is like, I figured some forums and stuff like that. And one of the things I see on there a lot is like maybe you'll get somebody who's preparing for their first competition and they're asking the forum what they should be doing. Yeah. It's like, hey, and my thing I always go on there is, hey, here's just some tips, but really you should be talking to your coach. Yeah. You should be talking to your instructor. You should be talking to your crew about this stuff. Because they're the ones that have the experience. Yes. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree?
Totally. And the one thing I would say too is have fun with it. Enjoy that process. It's unlike anything, but you'll have fun with it.
Oh yeah,
you'll remember it.
Yes, for sure. And that comes into more experiences. That goes into your own pocket too. That's your own experience that you're having. No one can ever take that from you. And for one thing I can say is I've had so many curveballs thrown my way as like a corner. One of the things I experienced last year was cornering my own brother. Yeah. That was something new. I got a little emotional.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, cool. Well, Coach Todd, like, hey, settle down. Some guys were talking behind us. And, I felt bad because, they have every right as a fan to be it. But we were competing against the old school I used to coach at. We're still really good friends. We still spar together and stuff. We bring our students together to spar each other, do guest classes at each other's places. And these guys were talking smack about them. It was some racist remarks. And I was like, oh, man. So, but needless to say, that was a new experience for me. I'd never experienced that before. I'm usually very much like deadpan.
That's one thing I really, really like. I look up to you for is you take emotion out of different situations that arise, and you tell me that too. Take your emotion out of it. Step back. And that's one thing that I really admire about you is the fact that you're able to just take emotion out of things and use your thought process to get through it.
The big thing, I find myself like, man, I get really excited and really passionate about things. Yeah. It's easy to get really manic about it. Yeah. And just, I found that if I just step back, take a breath, just try to analyze what's going on. Yeah. Which can be hard when, your competitors in the ring getting beat up. Yeah, exactly. But those are what are going to allow you to see those holes in the other person's game. And maybe you can get them to do something, you can coach them. Yeah. Because if you have a clear head, when they come back to the corner, they're going to have much more.
Exactly. Exactly. You got to keep that calmness.
That's right. So even when things are going wrong, it's like, hey, you still have to be that center for them.
Yeah, totally.
And I think we've seen it before for other coaches that are very famous that like they've had like the corner mic playing and you can tell that they're getting like very manic and they don't even know what to say because they're just getting so overcome with emotion. Yeah, it happens.
It does.
It's like a competitor. If they get emotional, man, they're done.
They're out. Yeah,
they're done. Some of them can play on it, but not a whole lot of them.
Yeah,
can do that. Like you haven't been to Thailand yet, but I know you're gonna go. Yeah. But like the way Thai guys spar is so like chill and relaxed.
Just
and they'll totally mess you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, this kid, he's 16, I was sparring with him, Southpaw. His brother is one of the top competitors at this gym we go to out there, Kid Canton Gym in Bangkok. This kid, Yadpet, his brother, I forget his name. I'll have to get it from Chickhead. But he ended up just putting a hurting on me, like in sparring.
Really?
Left kick, man. Yeah, he was really good.
Yeah.
And he was just having fun afterwards. Like, are you okay? You okay? You know? And that was kind of something that I've experienced, like, at all Muay Thai gyms in Thailand. You get it here, too, a lot of other places. You know, Kru Jonathan's gym, my crew.
Yeah.
The same thing at his place. Everything was very, like, chill.
Yeah.
You know? Never had any issues of people trying to, like, we did every once in a while here because people always have this preconceived notion about how they should be sparring and stuff like that, too. But I really had an awesome experience over there just throughout the past, like, 10 years that I've been going there.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing you be able to bring
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be awesome, man.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, is there anything else you think people should think about for, like, those kind of moments for training and things of that nature?
Man, here's one thing that Crew Mark told me that stuck with me always. If you break all your toys, what do you have left to play with?
That's a good one.
Right? If you break all your teammates, all your training partners, who are you going to have left to train with? Right? So take care of each other.
What, you mean you're not going to just train me all the time? One-on-one?
Whenever you want. Whenever you want.
You need teammates. And that goes into, like, Thailand, too. The same thing. They have a bunch of stablemates. They train with, and they don't want to hurt each other.
This is an individual sport, but it's not an individual sport. It takes an entire team to get you ready.
Exactly.
You just have to go and represent your team.
Exactly. Well, hey, Coach Ryan, thank you so much for coming in today, man. Thanks for sticking around. It's like 10:18. We both got to teach at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. This is what we like to do.
And I got a 45-minute drive home.
Oh, yeah, and you have to drive home. Yeah, man, you're good.
Yeah,
I have my 2-minute walk home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you, everybody, for coming in and listening today. If you guys like the podcast, definitely subscribe. We're now on iTunes and on, what's the other one?
Buzzsprout?
It was Buzzsprout, the hosting platform, but I have it on, oh man, what's the stream? It's not Pandora.
Spotify.
It's on Spotify also, guys. So if you like it, please be sure to rate us.
Yeah.
Share with your friends if there's anything on there. I have some special guests coming up in here. I don't want to give any names,
but it's going to be awesome.
Good ones.
So you guys are going to want to tune into this.
Yes. So I got some my friends, like international friends, I guess you could say.
For those of you guys who don't know, Jonathan's been in this game a long time. He knows a lot of people. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, it'll be cool. So, hey, Coach Ryan, thanks
sir.
Thanks for pushing me towards this too, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody in, and I'll keep everybody posted on the competition tomorrow and everything like that.
Trophy.
The top, so we go.